I am Sybil Dodson. This is my story. In 1985, Gary was diagnosed with colon cancer, already in stage 4. The next 2 or 3 years were very difficult. It was trips back and forth to MD Anderson Hospital. The cancer kept spreading to other parts of his body. Even though I had been told Gary did not have long to live, I had felt I had him for always. In spite of all his suffering, I felt myself clinging to the hope God would heal him or there would be a miracle cure. It wasn't until the day I was told he was to be dismissed from the hospital the next day to come home and have the care of hospice. Max came home from Baylor to help me as I continued to teach. Alvina, his mom, came frequently. Friends from the church also came. What a blessing. I was working late at a school fall festival to raise money for McGill when Max called me that Gary had gotten worse and wouldn't last much longer. I came home. Marta Smiley, Alvina, his mom, and Max were with him. Dr. Dodson soon came, and we were there with him at his death. Kelly was in medical school, so he and Gay were on their way and soon arrived. What was I to do? I felt numbed. It was a shock. How would I cope? I thought of the verse, 1 Thessalonians 4:13. I want you to know what happens to a Christian when he dies, so that when it happens, you will not be full of sorrow as those are who have no hope. And many of you know the rest of my story. Dr. Dwayne Dodson had lost his wife to breast cancer just 4 months before Gary died. Kelly, my oldest son, and Gay, his youngest daughter, had married in 1985. Therefore, when any of our children came home to visit either one of us, we could go back and forth to each other's houses. Dwayne would come to help me with outside chores. We began to talk and share our grief and sorrow about our losses of our spouses to each other. He began to come by for me to bring me to church. Our friends here at church were cheering for us and saying that they liked to see us together. This all brought about our marriage. We were married on Christmas Day, 1989. Martis and Jeannie came to what I called my house then. Martis performed the ceremony with all of our 6 children and just 3 grandchildren at that time. My mother and Dwayne's mother-in-law were present. I was married to Dwayne for 25 years before his death. Those were happy years. Keeping up with our growing families, traveling and spending time in Colorado. I was blessed again with a fun-loving Christian man. In the last year of his life, Parkinson's made it difficult for him. When he died, I had the same painful grief feelings as before, and I miss him greatly. I feel our time together and our marriage was a witness to God's providential care. I have been blessed twice. As I end, I think of what Chris told us a week or so ago. God knows and feels our pain. Just as Jesus wept at the grave of Lazarus, he weeps with us.